All right, welcome, welcome. We are going to talk today about how to return to center when you may not even know that you're off balance, or especially know why you're off balance. So, really, to dive into this, we're going to do some proprioception work today, as well as really bring forth an understanding of kind of even what it means to be off center and then how that feels in the body as well as internally. And then, of course, what you can do about it. So, I think one of the most important things with feeling off center, anytime that we're not in pure energetic alignment, is going to be the awareness key. Awareness in energetic medicine and healing in all of our work in mindset work, right? Anything that's growth related is absolutely key. It's the first point of being able to be the observer of a situation instead of being immersed or trapped or stuck in that situation, right? Just going through the motions of what's happening to you, to the alternative of getting this beautiful light bulb and aha of, oh, look at that thing. Look at that pattern. Oh, look what's actually happening to me. I can see now that there are other things going on. So, with this awareness, let's go into the body. Let's talk to the body first, which is very important in energetic medicine as well, as having a relationship and an understanding and a connection to your physical body. Because, of course, our physical body is not just, part of what helps us move and keeps us alive and keeps us going, but it's the densest part of our spirit. It is the physical form of our energetic body. So it's still energy, right? Everything is energy in this entire universe. And this is the lowest oscillation and vibration that we exist at, which also means that things that come into the body have had many other chances and many other vibrations and many other oscillations of circumstances before it came into the body. And while we're really not going to get into that in this video, it wants to be mentioned in this because it loops into that awareness where eventually what happens is that instead of something needing to reach the body first, we will all able to start to be or continue to be, because I'm going to tell you a little story how we get thrown off our rocker, no matter how long we've been doing this, and just need to get back on, right? But with that, yes, so that you can start to, why it's so important to be centered is so that when something is off kilter in your spirit or your emotions or your mental body, that you can be aware and notice and observe and correct it there before it ever has to affect your body, which of course is a little more difficult to then heal and clear and transmute and to remove. So let's get into the wobble. The wobble, the distortion, the off kilter. I tend to like to use that word off center, right? Is because we're talking about centering, but it's important to really, I feel, to kind of bring in those other adjectives where we understand that we are really looking for a symptom, this kind of off, right? Even just that saying, like, oh, I feel off today. The second you say that, the second your brain, your heart, your mind goes, oh, I feel off today, you are, and there's something that we can do about it, right? But let's talk a little bit more. So with a centered body, a centered energy system, you are looking for an energetic, clear light column, an energy that flows from source to you, through you, to the earth, up and down, through your torus field. Again, we're not going to get too deep into the spiritual technology here because that's just a whole other energy, much longer video, if you will. But you want to understand that when we are talking about centering, that is what it is. There is a light beam, a light column, a spiritual technology system that flows through the center of your being. So when you are strong and clear and in center, when you are balanced, you feel put together. Your spine straightens. You feel like you can move through your day, and if something comes at you that surprises you, it's like, oh, okay, we'll deal with that. We can handle that. Opposed to your pocket gets caught in a drawer and you kind of have a little mini meltdown because that was the last straw, right? And you thought you were moving through the day okay. Something drops, again, you get a snag, a rip happens, and it was just the last thing that you can that you could have handled because you were off kilter. Your energy wasn't flowing through you properly or strong or the way that it should be. So it's much harder for your entire system. Everything from your nervous system to your meridians, right? Very closely connected, those two. But all of the systems that communicate, so the mind, the voice, the heart, the way we feel, the way that we have our power exuding from us, all of that needs proper centered light flowing into the body. And again, when they're wanting me to bring it back to this wobble, and that's even what we're really going to kind of go ahead and test for or realign here in a quick demonstration of how you can detect physically if you're off center, as well as then bring yourself back in. Right before we go to that, they're pinging my memory here that another thing that's important to talk about is the more internal, so what we would call mental emotional, but it's in the body right now, right? We're thinking it and we're feeling it, even though these fields start outside of us and exist as this electromagnetic wave around us, right? Our biofield. When the mental and emotional layers are, let's say, for the majority, they have very high off balance, off centered. There's discordant frequencies that are running through them, which then, right? And it's very normal for us to go like out this way, but of course it's all above our head as well. And anything that holds a distortion is going to create an actual ripple. So this wobble, again, where we just don't feel quite like ourselves, it's just so much easier for something to come at us and us to be like thrown off our center from it. With this, with the mind and the emotional distortion, with that wobble, what they want to convey with the benevolent ones, whenever I say they, it's the benevolent ones, it's the order of light, it's source itself, the harmonic light beings. What they want to convey today with that is the importance that when things start to feel out of hand in the head or in the emotions, like you just don't know why you're spiraling through those thoughts again. There's this thing that you went through, this big healing journey for a couple of years ago, and something triggered it, and now you're spiraling again. Or there's something that you're dealing with in your life that you just can't stop thinking about, of what could go wrong, or the negatives, and what's happening with this. Again, outside beings as well. And in that, I mean like family or friends or just situations, but it's rampant almost. It feels like you can't stop it. When things like that are happening, it is a distortion, and it's an intrusion, even is the word that's wanting to come through. Because when your field is not strong and balanced and centered, so much errant outside energy from other people's fields, especially it's not even always people we know. The collective field is something that we rarely want to pick up on or allow into our fields without prior consent, right? There's times like if you're doing group meditations and things like that, there's still protections and energies that you want to put into place then. But it's a very, very, I would almost say, unknown phenomenon, or unchecked is probably better. Like, people know it happens, but it just, the way that it slips in, the way those insidious thoughts, especially because they're internal thoughts, it's stuff that's really happening in your life, or it's things that you have really dealt with in your mind. So it feels like it's you. You feel like, oh, why am I going through all of these thoughts again? Why am I blaming myself for that again? Or even that with the blame, they're wanting to bring that up and even looping into my own little story here, where these things that I'm dealing with my daughter, my beautiful neurodivergent daughter who deals with some mental health issues, and just with her PDA, she has a lot of high emotions day in and day out. And then other things that were happening in my business, things I'm doing with my own health. And it's amusing to me now, not almost amusing, it is amusing, because the way that these thoughts, these negative thoughts of like that I'm not doing enough, or how am I ever going to do this, or what am I thinking that I'm doing, and who am I? And just like every second. And now I am in my awareness most of the time. And with that, when these thoughts were coming in, I still was canceling them and neutralizing them. I was still doing good energy work, like, this is crazy, neutralize. I don't believe you, neutralize. And other work that I do with that, but it doesn't mean that they weren't coming in. And now the fallacy, or just the thing that happens to us, no matter how many decades you have been doing this, even professionally, working with energy, being aware of all this, is that it took me a good like week and a half until this huge light bulb was like, oh my goodness, it's not you. Like, the triggers, the thoughts, again, the things that were in my life were me, but there was outside interference. And the second that I had that realization was like, oh my goodness, like my field, I haven't been centering properly. Like, all of these things have been going on that I've let some of my deeper work, let's say, go by the wayside. And we hold no guilt. We hold no blame in those areas, those eras. We just bring ourselves back in. We thank the awareness. We thank our higher selves, our observer selves, for seeing it, for knowing it, for labeling it. And then we do the work. We do the energetic work. And it was like night and day. So once we bring back the true centering, once we bring back the awareness that there is so much that was happening in the collective field, so much fear, so much negativity, so much sorrow, that because I'm recording this video because I know that it's happening in the collective, with my people, with my community, that when we let our guards down, it's too easy to blame ourselves, to think we're in a rut, to think we're in this negative rut, or how are we going to get out of this? When in reality, if we are working with the proper harmonic energetics, that those things that I haven't stopped doing any of them, right? My daughter is always going to have PDA. There's going to be hard days. I'm dealing better, actually, though, with my health things. My business is that's not going to stop. The way it is like, oh my God, I'm always doing something that scares me in my business. But they got monumentally easier to handle when I came back home and I was centered. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay. Let's go in. We are just doing a centering technique in practice. I am actually going to record a separate frequency code activation for those who desire to really go in and to have the source, the benevolent ones, the actual light and harmonics. But this technique you can use day in and day out. The second you notice a tilt, a wobble, things again are just shaky in your house, in your home, but especially in your thoughts or in your emotions, right? Before you kind of feel it even fully come into the body. So what we're going to do now, this is probably easier with your eyes closed because then you're in your sensing energy. And we're going to go ahead and just take a few breaths. I'm being called to bring my hands to my heart, which is our center portal, our strongest energetic portal in the body. Right now, we're just calming the energy. We're tuning in. I want you to feel your body, to know yourself as a harmonic presence that exists in your body. Heal your sacred heart, your centered heart, becoming strong and amplifying with light. And from this centered state, I now want you to take the line, the portal, the vortex that is your strong light heart, and see, sense, and feel. If sensing energy isn't your strong point yet, you can even take a hand from your heart and draw it up the body, up through the throat, the chin, the nose, up through the center of the eyes, the forehead, and allow this to be in the whole time. And again, even though, like I said, the frequency code's coming in the next video, but when I talk, when I run energy, when I'm doing this, there is energetics involved. And so this beautiful light column is already this access point, this cleansing, this centering energy. It's coming up, up, up. And you want to envision, right, far beyond you can bring your hand, this light beam, your light beam going straight up into the sacred center of the universe, up into source, all that is itself. Take a deep breath with that, landing home in source center. And with that sacred centered point anchored into source, we're going to drop it back down. Feel it coming back down, Mrs. Shumli, down all of your transpersonal chakras into the crown again, down the center. We're getting stronger, more balanced. Everything's feeling more real, more alive, more in tune. And we're back down into the sacred heart. You can feel this beautiful glow, this strengthening here happening now. And then let it keep going, my friends. Again, if it feels good for you or if it's helpful, draw the line down the body. And then let your hand, as soon as it can't go any further, it beams into the earth, into the crystalline, harmonic, true earth frequency, down into the rooted center of all that she is. You can feel what I call the magnetic boots locking on with your feet, our feet, your frequency field is now anchored, grounded, centered, and balanced. Like we just came on. This is also why that wobble, that distortion, it's so real because we're physically unbalanced when we are energetically unbalanced. And so can you feel that now, this rooted, this planted energy that you are at your stronghold, your centered self. Now let's rise that light back up. Sacred source light meets you, sacred self meets the sacred earth, back to your center, back to your sacred heart. Just breathe it in. I'm going to go ahead and open my eyes here. And like I'm just giggling because, like I said, I mean, there's going to be a whole other frequency code video, but I can't bring through a even demonstration or what I would call a technique like that without it running this beautiful harmonic source energy that we just got to receive. Now feel into the body. That's what they're wanting you to do. The knees even, like depending on where you are, right? I'm in a seated position, so it just, everything just feels here and solid and balanced. Like it feels like if somebody came and pushed me, I wouldn't go anywhere. I'm rooted, right? And then the same thing, everything, they want you also now feel outside of your body. You can even bring your hands like this. And when you bring your hands out, you should feel a field because everything that you are, your biofield, right? Your aura, as we call it, is stronger because it's sourced and centered and anchored. You are centered in and with all that is. And that immediate, that quick act, right? A couple of minutes. And honestly, you can do this in a jiffy. If you really need a quick alignment, it is hand to heart and beams of light, source to self to earth, source to self to earth, right? You're in a store, it's a weird conversation, a bad dream just happened, source to self to earth, and you're locking in. And even the more that you do that is, again, the stronger that it gets, the easier that it gets. But also, if you have the couple of minutes, let yourself play, let yourself enjoy, let yourself be with these energies. And with every time that you do them, come back into your power. You, as I say, reclaim your power, because that's literally what we just did today, and enjoy it. And go forth and witness how things are different, how you're thinking clearer, how your emotions, even high energy things, even high emotion events, you're able to deal with, right? It doesn't just poof and change things in our reality. It changes you and how you approach them, how you're able to handle them and move through this life that we're living here in this 3D plane. So very powerful for your daily energetic needs here. And I think that's what I have. Do go catch the next video, the frequency code. My light is centered and strong. And I'm very much looking forward to sharing so much more with you. Give the Temple of Energetic Arts a subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Much love.